So that's why we started Pitch together with my 7 co-founders. And we didn't really decide from the beginning who's going to do what. We just wanted to build and be creative together, have fun, work with friends, people you really trust.
Hello, tech enthusiasts. Welcome back to another exciting episode of MobileAppDaily. It is our privilege today to introduce a tech visionary and entrepreneur who has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of collaborative presentations. Meet Adam Renklint, the co founder and CTO of Pitch, a revolutionary platform that has redefined the way teams create, collaborate on, and deliver presentations. Adam's journey in the world of technology began a decade ago as a JavaScript developer at Zex Wunderkinder. His passion for innovation and his expertise in software development quickly propelled him into senior roles, including a significant stint at Microsoft as a senior software engineer. However, his true mark on the tech world emerged when in January 2018 he co founded Pitch. Hi, Adam. Welcome to the Leaders Talk at Mobile App Daily.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So, could you please tell us a little bit about your journey from being a developer to now a CTO at Pitch?
Sure. Well, so my journey as a developer starts at a quite early age. I think I started programming when I was 11 or 12, writing go-to loops in BASIC, then graduating to create small games and things like that with Visual Basic. And at 14, I made my first cash or made some money building a website for an artist. And that kind of um, gave me the idea that one day I could work professionally as a developer. My dad, being a very pragmatic man, instilled in me that actually computers are tools. They're not really a career. So for the first few years of my adult life, I was in a whole different kind of business, working with call centers and like leading teams in customer support, things like that. So it's more maybe 15 years ago as I uh, decided to branch out and start freelancing myself. And through that freelancing as a mobile app developer and front end developer, I came into contact with a company in Germany, Sechs Wunderkinder. Was I think they were 11 or 12 people at the time, and I was living in Sweden. I'm from Sweden, and yeah, they needed help with some specific things. So I decided to uproot myself and move to Germany, try out startup life, and best decision I ever made, I think. I built a whole new life there, made so many new friends, grew that company together with the team at Wunderlist and the founders to 70 people over a couple of years and many millions of users. Wunderlist was really a beloved product, and eventually, I, I've always kind of been drawn to leadership roles naturally. It just kind of happens. So that also happened at Wunderlist, where I got the chance to lead our web team and work also on explorations for new products, leading cross-functional teams. And then we were acquired by Microsoft. So I spent 2 years there as a senior developer, as an engineer. So after a few years there, me and some other folks decided to leave and start up something new for ourselves. So that's why we started Pitch together with my 7 co-founders. And we didn't really decide from the beginning who's going to do what. We just wanted to build and be creative together, have fun, work with friends, people you really trust. Yeah. But as you start up a company, there are lots of things you need to do outside of building a product, which I was naturally drawn to just fix things. That's the role of a founder. You see a pile of laundry on the floor, you're going to learn how to operate the laundry machine. So I got started with hiring, making sure that our early team had a good direction to work in, and through that, kind of just became the lead engineer first, and then the CTO. So I've been doing that now for over 5 years. And the CTO role changes every 6 months, I would say. It's in a growing startup, it's one of the roles that is changing the most, from being more like a lead engineer and the direct manager of people to at a larger stage being more of an executive, leading teams of teams, or so very dynamic. I still try to get some programming in every week, not in the hot path of our product, but just to make sure that I have my a feeling for the pulse of the company and the code base, and also as therapy. Programming is insanely fun, so I do it to just enjoy it. Also,
That's really beautiful. So, what we read during our research was that pitch is often described as uncompromisingly good presentation software. So, could you also elaborate on the technical features that set pitch apart from other presentation tools? Because we suppose that you are having so much fun while building it.
yeah. So when we set out to build Pitch originally, collaboration was not a table stakes features. Many people were still sending around, especially with presentation software, sending around files. So a core philosophical and technological tenet of Pitch is that it should feel as if you're working with other people inside of an office, to kind of create a wormhole to this universal computer that you're all sitting at the same terminal and not sending things back and forth. So collaboration should be immediate and immersive. So that's one of the core technical aspects. We had to build everything around this, building also on the knowledge of having the experience of having done this at Wunderlist before. Other than that, technically, like nowadays, obviously AI is a big part of everyone's thinking, and we're really looking at how can we go past the obvious demos that is fun and interesting and but quite easy to ship, of just using writing a wrapper for ChatGPT, and going at least a layer deeper and seeing what new opportunities does this new technology give us. And that's something we're thinking a lot about and working a lot on today, to see how we can bring a new type of assistive interface into our products, so that we can let our users focus on what really matters for them, which is, what do you want to say? What is the message? What's the story you want to tell with your presentation? And not, how do I actually move a box around or make something look nice? The software should help do that for you, so that you are in charge of crafting your message rather than doing manual labor. And
So what we've understood is that your aim is to create an experience for the person who's working with your tool. Could you also share like some specific examples of how startups and companies have benefited after using Pitch to improve their presentations and workflows?
Sure. So one of our dearest customers that we work a lot with, they're called Frontify, and they make a tool to help with brand management. And so with the Pitch, they were able to get a lot more consistency, because we have, I already mentioned the templates. An alternate thing that exists, or a complementary thing rather, is brand styles. So you can create these, a developer would call them style sheets, this way of describing how certain things should look, that you can share across your team. So when someone needs to create a presentation for a specific customer, you don't need to start thinking about what's the right hex or Pantone color that for this one, but you could just select that from a library that you all share. So you can kind of do a little bit of work to set that up, and then you have guaranteed consistency. And this, of course, saves time. And this team in particular has used our live collaboration features quite a lot, which is something you see in a lot of tools today. I think it wasn't so common when we started Pitch and when we built it, which is like you have these live cursors everywhere, so you can kind of feel that other people are there. And it makes it easier to not step on each other's toes, because we can solve a lot of problems on a technical level with operational transforms and all these kind of techniques to enable collaborative development. But in the end, we can't solve the social problems of two people trying to do the same thing at the same time, or different things at the same time, technically. So that's where these live cursors actually help you to see what, if Tanvi is working on this headline right now, maybe I shouldn't rewrite it. I just go somewhere else. And having the built-in messaging through comments also means that you can coordinate your work in real time without having to go into another tool. So that was really helpful for them, and they've given us a lot of feedback, like co-creating this to make it a great experience. Another example I can think of is a company called Linear, which they're doing a very modern and clean approach to task management or project management. So it's a tool that we use internally to build Pitch, and they use Pitch to talk about and to build a Linear itself. And for them, what stands out is you can have better focus in meetings by using Pitch as a way to collect all your information for all hands meetings and things like that. So they use it quite a lot for the internal use cases where you're trying to communicate with your coworkers. And there we built some features that we initially thought about for people who are using decks to win work. So being able to see how other people are opening your deck, how long they spend on each slide. But this is also useful internally for a company like Linear to see, we've created an all hands deck that people should read before we actually get together and meet. You can also check that everyone has read it. So you don't need to postpone the meeting or have a reading moment at the beginning. So helps a lot with just being efficient with your communication and being on the same page about things.
That's a healthy exchange, we suppose. So many companies are looking to leverage AI for content creation and automation. Are you planning to utilize AI to assist users in creating presentations, and how exactly, if you could give us certain examples?
Yeah, so we've actually been using AI since the beginning of Pitch. It just wasn't as hip and cool to talk about the technology so front and center. So the earliest example of having AI in our product is that if you just drop an image or a photo or something, we will automatically position it so that you can see the face or the object of interest, and you don't have to think about it. Many people don't know that this exists in Pitch because it just works. And that's kind of how we like to think about many features. Like, that should just feel like magic, and you don't have to make the decisions yourself. You're still in control and can change things, but the default case when you don't make a decision should be great, and in particular, it should look great visually, right? Because people select Pitch because they see the value in having presentations with great design, even if they're maybe not great designers themselves or want to take the time to do that. And I already mentioned what we have most recently shipped, which is a way to be able to create these drafts or customized templates for any use case. Looking further than that, like, we're really exploring, can we bring an assistive interface into Pitch that doesn't feel necessarily like a chat, because there's a lot of typing in there, but a way to help guide you along the process of creating a presentation, which is very scary for many people. We Our research shows that like it's the most scary in the beginning and the end because you have to get started. So if we help you there with this generator feature or with our templates, and then in the middle, people are quite safe. You're working on your content. You're using your human brain to make deductions and craft your message. But then towards the end, it becomes scary again with deciding when is this deck finished? Have I dotted the i's and have I really done everything I can to make the presentation as good as possible? And there, I think a lot of the anxiety comes from not knowing what you don't know. Not everyone is a presentation making expert. So there we want to bring kind of a coach for our users to help you not only automate things, because we can automate a lot of things, but in that process actually help you become a better presentation creator.
Wow, I'm sure that will be. So, in the world of data driven decision making, analytics play a crucial role. Could you also shed some light on how Pitch's integration with platforms such as Google Analytics harness AI to empower users in achieving enhanced data visualization and comprehension, if that is a feature that is being used?
Yeah, so we have when we started Pitch, we the founders, we just put a whiteboard up and we started drawing and writing what we wanted to have. And one of the first things, or not what we wanted to have, what we think would be the presentation tool of the future that users would have and that we would also like to use, because we had to make presentations in PowerPoint at Microsoft. And one of the biggest problems or time sinks that we saw is that you have to manually transfer data between different places. And people end up just making a screenshot of a graph or a chart in some tool, copy it over, and then you have different resolutions. It's always a little bit blurry. It's always out of date. So we decided that we wanted to solve that by integrating data directly into your presentation, so that you can use a tool within Pitch itself to make your charts and your graphs, so that they can also be themed with the style of the presentation and not just be bitmap screenshots. And there we've integrated like what a lot of our users, they come to us from Google Slides and are using the Google Suite to some degree. So we started by making sure that you can connect your Google Sheet, and there's a single button to just update it at any point, but you're still in control there, right? So it's not just live updating 5 minutes before you're about to give the presentation. You decide when to update the data, and it's that is also part of the history of the presentation itself. So you can just use the undo button to go back in time if you didn't want that new data, for instance, if you made a mistake. So being in control is super important there. Thinking a little bit broader about your question, like on analytics. So presentation tools, the legacy tools in the era before Pitch, they used to be file-based. So you create a file and then I send it over to you, and then you make some changes, and we have these diverging branches of a tree. And then at some point we want to send that to someone else to read the final version. And there was really a lack of feedback of knowing, have someone read it? How far did they get? So we wanted to make sure that our users are able to gather some insights about how do their presentations actually perform. So we've recently launched a way to create for any presentation in your workspace links that you can give them a name. You can have many per presentation as well, that you can send out to. You can create one for, let's say, each investor that you're trying to raise money from. Send it out to them and see how many people within the firm have looked at this. do they drop off at the slide where we talk about how much money we want, or what the team is? So with those quite simple tools of just seeing how much time people spend on slides and how many people look at the different slides, you get a lot of insight into how the deck is performing on an aggregate level. So, and that can then inform what changes do we need to make for the next version of this deck that we're sending out. And this is all happening in near real time. So you don't have to wait for a weekly report of someone compiling data or anything, but the presentation creator can just look at this directly in pitch. And I think there's also something that's interesting for us in the future of seeing how can we help package up more insights about this in a very natural form. The other amazing part about this new AI revolution is that working with the computers with the exchange of natural language is breaking down many barriers for being able to, for anyone to be able to do anything that they can just think of. So you don't need to do the steps, you need to know the end state. And if you can describe that to the AI, it can help you do that. And the other way around, we can explain things to the user in more natural language that doesn't, you don't have to try to decipher a big chart or anything like that, but you can, in like, natural language, have the AI explain the insights for you. And
well, data is really important, and I think these are really important use cases.
yeah.
So, moving on. So, let's go to the next question. So, it says Pitch has attracted significant funding, including a series of B round of $85 million in 2020 million dollars in 2021, to be precise. What are the startups' long-term plans, and how do you plan to ensure resources to further enhance Pitch's capabilities?
Yeah. So, I mean, we set out on this crazy idea of 8 people that we wanted to. Initially, we framed it as kill PowerPoint. I think we've grown a little bit less aggressive with how we talk about that. But we created this David and Goliath story for ourselves of really trying to take over. And we see, of course, that this is a slow process. It takes quite a while because there are so many people using presentations all over the world. But having really well-renowned institutional investors supporting us and the capital for us to be able to experiment a lot means that we can we don't have to limit ourselves in terms of what we envision and go for compromises, but really try to think about pushing everything that we do to its full potential. That takes manpower and womanpower. Lots of creative people need to sit down and think hard about problems and solving them from first principle rather than doing what another tool is doing. So I think that these investments have enabled us to do that, to try to innovate and be not just 10% better than our competitors, but twice as good.
Wow, I think it's good to be ambitious.
Yeah, I do too.
Yes. So, what are your long-term plans when it comes to Pitch? Since you've already discussed like a number of them, but I suppose like what is like a short, long-term plan that we can expect from Pitch?
So for sure, it's definitely that you will see a lot more AI all through the product of trying to create magical moments where you're collaborating with the computer. So kind of almost a conversation that allows you to then focus much more on what you want to say. And we think this and other things will help you to craft your story much better. Also by, like, we like to say that we're in the business of trying to raise the value of the world's ideas. So not just being there when you have fully formed your idea, but being a tool that can be a partner for refining your idea as well. So making with this presentation analytics that I was talking about, we've already made progress on helping you towards the end of the life cycle of a presentation. But we also think that there's a lot more we can do in the beginning of helping to get you started. Solutions that are solving the problems that prevent people from spending all of their time on making the decks just better. In different ways. So if that's building out analytics to make it more actionable, for instance, but also the editing experience itself, just removing, if we can make 3 clicks into one for something that you do 300 times while doing a presentation, that is a big win. So when we think about our future roadmap, we're always trying to blend more exploratory, maybe risky, innovative stuff with solving the more minor but often occurring issues that users of all presentation tools, especially the legacy tools, encounter.
Wow. So that actually, I'm sure, like, it'll create an even bigger impact soon. So finally, could you provide some insights into how technology will continue to shape the future of presentation software in the future in general?
Yeah. So I already mentioned it a little bit, but I think AI is going to continue to change how we interact with software a lot. We could see this the last year as kind of it feels, I think, or felt for many people like a revolution because so many things are changing so quickly. But I think this is just getting started. We haven't seen yet the true potential of more iterative and conversational interfaces for interacting with our computers. So I think this will be a big shift for us. Also, most users that we have, they use Pitch today on a desktop or laptop computer. They're sitting there with a full keyboard and trackpad or mouse. But I think with the help of AI in the future, more and more software will have a mobile experience that is where you can do the same things, but in a different way. So in the future, you would the way that you're talking to Siri today to look something up on Wikipedia, taking that to the next level where you can tell.
Yes, so thank you, Adam. That is actually great. And I think we've learned a lot from everything that you had to share about pitch and about your journey also. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And for anyone listening, try out Pitch. Try to make a deck, and especially try out our new generator, which helps you to jumpstart your creation in seconds by just trying to describe what the end state should be.
Right. Exactly. I think we should start using pitch as well here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes. Thank you, Adam. It was a pleasure to have you. And thank you for tuning on to Mobile App Daily.
Thank you.